All right, good morning. Let's roll. We're on page 66, Perek Gimel. Pasuk starts off as follows: Beni Torati al tishkach u'mitzvotai yitzor libecha. Actually, Yaakov Shwek has a song about this. My child, do not forget my Torah, and let your heart guard my commandments. And continuing on, he says, Ki orach yamim ushnot chaim v'shalom yusifu lach. For they add you length of days and years of life and peace. And then he says, Chesed ve'emet al yazvecha, kesharim al gergorotecha, katvem aloch libecha. He says, kindness and truth should not forsake you. Bind them on your neck, inscribe them on the tablet of your heart. Then he says, Umatza chen v'sechel tov b'nei Elohim ve'adam, and you will find favor and goodly sense in the eyes of God and man. All right, let's roll. We know every time that Shlomo says Beni, he talks out of love, my child. And he says here because Torah isn't a list of rules just. It's a relationship between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't say study more over here. If you realize, he says al tishkach. He says don't forget. Because forgetting isn't only an issue of memory, it's an issue of connection. You never forget your parents. You should never forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We forget Torah not because our mind fails, but because, our hearts get distracted with our surroundings around us. And we let our routine, dull our sensitivity to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we stop feeling that fire. So Shlomo's plea is very simple. He says, keep it alive, keep remembering what's real, and don't let HaKadosh Baruch Hu's words become just background noise in your life. That's what Beni Torati al Tishkach means. My son, do not forget my Torah. Then continuing on, Mitzvotai yitzor libecha, let your heart guard my mitzvot. The goal isn't just to perform mitzvot, it's to guard them in your heart. When a mitzvah is external, it fades quickly, right? If you're doing a mitzvah because people are watching you, right, you're going to shul because you have people watching you. So when that is not there anymore, it'll fade away. Or you're going to shul because your parents are forcing you to go to shul. So what happens? You move to the city and you don't go to shul. I mean, stuff, everyone comes to shul, Baruch Hashem. But if you move to the city, right, you're just not down because your parents are not forcing you to go to the knis. But if from within you told yourself, shul is very important for me, then you'll always come to shul, right? Because that's when it becomes part of your identity. It lasts. I'm a person who goes to shul. I'm a person who prays. I'm a person who learns. That's your identity. You're not praying or learning because someone wants you to. You're praying and learning because you know that's what's right for you, right? The Torah is teaching us that guard the mitzvot, the spirit of the mitzvot, not just the form of the mitzvot. Guard their meaning. What's their intention behind them? The connection that they lead to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For example, when you give tzedakah, don't only give. Feel the compassion to the person you're giving to. Right? I'm not just giving. They say, the Chamim say, when you give tzedakah to someone who's legit, you should say, thank you for giving me the opportunity to fulfill a mitzvah. Right. You're giving me the zechut. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to give tzedakah. But you're the reason why you're giving me a mitzvah, right? When you keep Shabbat, don't only rest on Shabbat, but feel the holiness of the Shabbat. When you pray, don't only speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but feel before who you're standing in front of. You're standing before your God, Hashem. That's yitzor libecha. Your heart becomes the safe where the Torah lives. Why are you smiling?
No, I liked what you were saying.
You were thinking about the video before?
No. I was like what you said. Very good.
Ki orech yamim, continuing on, Ki orech yamim ushnot chaim v'shalom yusifu lach. They add length of days, life and peace. Torah doesn't only give quantity of life, it gives quality of life. Right? Life is not about quantity, it's about quality. How much did you fulfill in your life? We have Chaya Sarah this week. What do you want to live after you die? To live from or do you want your children and stuff that you gave to the world you want the things you left here to outlive you, right? Whether it is you raised Talmidei Chachamim, whether it is you gave to tzedakah organizations that led on, you gave to a Torah center that keeps teaching the future. That's Orach Yamim. Orach Yamim is physical blessing. Shnot Chaim is energy. Shenot Chaim, vitality and a meaning, and Shalom is inner peace, right? That's the kind of life that you want. There's a kind of life that's really busy, but it's empty. You keep on busy, but you're empty because you have nothing. You're always chasing, but you're never arriving to the destination that you really want to arrive to, which is that's the Torah life. It's slower, but it's whole. You feel more fulfilled in yourself, and then even the pain that you have becomes purposeful, because we said by definition, purpose has to come with pain, because then there's no sense of growth. Because growth, you have to have some sort of pain, because then you feel the growth. Because without pain, there's no growth. You're just living a regular life, right? So every time you have pain, you understand that's the catalyst for growth. And then even that whole struggle from before becomes holy. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't just extend your years, He fills them with life worth living. That's what it means, Orach Yamim. And Chesed ve'emet al yazvucha, let kindness and truth never leave you. Here Shlomo really defines, the essence of the Torah personality, which is Chesed and Emet. Chesed without Emet becomes weakness. Emet without Chesed becomes cruelty. Because only together they do reflect what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. Al yazvucha means don't let either one leave you. Even when life tests you, you should have Chesed ve'emet together. When you're hurt, you should still be kind. When you're pressured, you should still be emet, you should still be honest. When it's unpopular in life to do something, you still have to be true to yourself. Right? Your whole surroundings could do something, your whole workspace could do something, but you know it's wrong, so you won't do that. That's what it means to be fulfilled yourself. This is really spiritual maturity. To hold on to kindness and truth in a world that usually values the opposite. The world does not value kindness and truth. Their kindness, right, is not our kindness. Their kindness is twisted. Their truth is twisted, right? I was saying this morning when I gave my Pirkei Avot class. There was a bakery that got sued for like $50 million. Why? Because they didn't want to make a cake with two men marrying each other. So they got sued because you have to accept all. So they sued them for like a crazy amount of money. It's my bakery. I can do whatever the heck I want. You tell me they have to, it's crazy. Like that's messed up. And I think they ended up winning, but whatever.
Was the bakery?
I think the bakery ended up winning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kashrim al gerotecha, tie them around your neck. Shlomo here gives a powerful image. He says, wear these values like a necklace. Always carry. Don't just wear them again, David. Represent them again, David. Represent what it is. I'm a Jew. I'm proud to be a Jew. I'm proud to do the right thing. When what you wear around your neck is really visible to everyone. You have to let your kindness be shown. You tell someone good morning. He has to see that you're a Jew. That Jews are nice. Jews are kind. Stuff like that. Every time I tell my doorman good morning, and he's like, you're like one of the only people that tell me good morning every single day. Wow. You always start a conversation with me. You always it takes me 3 seconds. Good morning, have a great day. That's 3 seconds, bro. And now this guy looks at Jews as, the biggest tzaddikim in the world. I literally just tell him good morning. You could in the Regency, bro, you could do the same thing. Yeah. We'll discuss later. Yeah, everyone knows everyone,
You smile, you wave, you say hello.
Last night, me and my friend were walking from the gym, and this guy dropped a bunch of his business cards on the floor. So we picked them up, we gave it to him, but same thing. It's nothing, but wow, thanks so much.
Takes 2 seconds.
People in the city, they don't.
Yeah, they have no. Everyone's hustling. Everyone's hustling for nothing.
I was in the store yesterday, and I was walking past a girl, and I tipped over an empty box on the floor. I pick it up. The girl says, "You can just leave it there. No one cares."
It's crazy, by the way.
I put it back on the shelf.
Right.
Katvem aluch libecha. Continuing on, write them on the tablet of your heart, which means engrave it in your live. Right. Don't just write it in ink. Engrave the mitzvot in your heart. Ink fades. Engraving it. What does it mean? Write them. Engraving it remains even when your life, rubs hard against it. It's still there. Shlomo is saying that let these values that you have become carved into your actual character. This is who I am. I'm a ish emet. I'm a trustworthy person. So that even under pressure, your instinct remains, kind and truthful. Because no matter what happens, this is who I am. And when your heart is engraved with Torah, you don't need to look up what's right, because you already feel what's right. Continuing on, chen v'sechel tov b'nei Elokim ve'adam. You will find favor and good understanding before God and man. When you live with chesed and emet, something beautiful really happens. What happens? Hashem loves you, obviously, but also people start respecting you. Everyone respects a trustworthy person, no matter what. Not today, but I'm talking about in our world, in our community. You're an honest person. We trust you. You're kind. We trust you, right? We said this yesterday. It could take you years to build your name, but a second to destroy your name, right? Because really the people around you recognize your sincerity as a person. You're a real person. People can sense when someone's heart is real, when someone's heart is fake. When you live for truth, not for your image. You live for emet. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds, measure for measure, because when you show loyalty and integrity for HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you this chen, imatzati chen be'enecha, right? He gives you this divine grace that opens the doors. And then continuing on, B'tach el Hashem b'chol libecha, trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu with all your heart. Shlomo says, trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu completely, not halfway, not when it's easy, but with all your heart. And we gave the example the other day. I think both of you guys were here, but it's good to repeat. You go to a bank on Sunday, and the bank is closed. You're not nervous that you won't get your money, because you know the bank is open tomorrow. Right? You'll come tomorrow, come Monday, come Tuesday, you get the money. Same thing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the bank. You're not nervous because you know He'll give it to you whenever you need it. Not whenever you need it, whenever it's good for you to have it. Right? And that means, stop trying to control every outcome, because He's the person who's controlling every outcome. You just got to do your shtadlut. You do your best and let go. Let go and let God. Right? Just add the D over there, And that was me, betach bechol libecha. Real trust is more of an emotional thing, not just intellectual. And we saw this with Avraham Aminov taking Yitzchak for the Akedah. Intellectually, it makes no sense to take him for a korban, but emotionally, he had that relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It means to allow your heart to rest, and also to knowing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running the show. To know that it's not a passive thing, but it's a peaceful action to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You plan, you work, but you don't panic because you know God is in control. Man plans and God laughs. It's really the thing. Do not rely on your own understanding. This is really. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't think. It means that you shouldn't worship your thinking. There are moments when your intellect says one thing, but the Torah says the other. When your logic says it doesn't make sense to forgive, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to forgive. This guy hurt me so bad. Why should I forgive him? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says forgive him, because then I'll forgive you. Right. We said at the end of the tefillah, Oseh Shalom b'mrumav. Why did we say it at the end? Because the whole tefillah only works if you have shalom. Right? And think about it. Every single beracha we have in Shemona Esrei is plural. Right? Refa'enu, hashivenu, barechenu. Right? Shasi, barechini, hashiveni. Why are we saying everything plural? Because as a Jew, we always have to pray for everyone. Ki ish echad belev echad. We're one man. We only received the Torah when we were one soul by the Torah, by Har Sinai. So that's really the idea. Do we even get to this? I'm just going. No, we didn't get to this yet. Okay. So that's really the idea. B'ezrat Hashem, we will continue next time.